Hello and welcome back to my garage here in Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. So let's take a quick look at what I have here in the garage. This Dodge Viper is the one that I picked up on that last trip to the junkyard. It's completely finished now and ready to be sold. The yellow was the color that it came with. I think that was the factory color. Yeah. I added the black stripes because I think it looks pretty cool. I did paint the rims black metallic, but I think it was a mistake because you can't really tell. I mean, they're black anyway, and what it did basically was it blacked out the Viper logo at the hub there, because that's chrome normally, and it just blacked it out, which kind of sucks. If I wasn't going to be just selling this car, I might change it back. I don't know if there's even a way to revert to the original paint. Maybe I think that I would probably have to buy all new rims and chuck these and remount the tires and everything, and I don't really want to do that. So anyway, this one can go. What are we at? 1048 horsepower, and it's close to $500,000. Yeah, $493,000. I will do those things all day long. And then I was looking in my parking, in my storage, and I have 4 of these things sitting in there waiting to be done. And I'm really kind of sick to death of working on them. But this is a Bugatti Chiron, by the way. And I've done so many of these cars, I don't even buy them anymore when I see them in the junkyard, even though they're worth $2.5 million. Now, this color, this kind of olive drab color, is what it came with. The factory color was this, and it was kind of a burnt salmon color. I mean, it really wasn't attractive, and I decided to leave it like this. I did the usual stuff to it. I mean, it's all upgraded and tricked out. I chromed the wheels and all that stuff, because even though I don't particularly like this car, I can't get rid of it looking like crap. So there she is, and I think this one is $2.6 million. I'm not even sure how many of these were built. I'm gonna have to look it up. The mileage on this one is 8,200, almost 8,300 miles. So it didn't last for long before somebody wrecked it and ended up in the junkyard. But yeah, this one is $2.6 million, and that's a good way to make some money if you're playing on PC and you want to get some mods in. So this here is the Mercedes SLS, and this was actually kind of exciting to find, because since the Mercedes DLC came out, I have seen exactly 3 of these. This is the 3rd one. The first one that I found, I sold, and then it took me forever to find a second one, because I decided I wanted to keep one for my collection. And I did eventually find one. So this one can be sold, and I'm not even sure how much they're worth. It's been so long since I sold one of them. But we'll go ahead and get it cleaned up here. Come on, get into the interior. There we go. Get an idea of what we're looking at here. I'm probably going to change the wheels, because these are it has like stock Mercedes wheels on it, and I'll probably change that to something else as we pick off all the little bits here. And I moved it over here because I intended to take like a beauty shot with that car in the foreground and the 2 completed ones behind it. But of course I didn't do that. So, there we go. Well, of all that crap I took off there, we only repaired 2 things. So what was that? That was the trunk. Left tail light. So I think what we'll do, I have some extra brake discs for some reason. So the trunk is the only body part that we have. And we can go ahead and buy, it only has 2 seats, it doesn't have a back seat. And we can go ahead and buy the other bits that we need. Just remember to not buy another trunk. Okay, and I can't remember if this thing has a front license plate or not. Guess we'll find out here in a moment. Get this battery back. I didn't buy the other stuff that I need. Let's see, so do I actually have any ABS bits? No. There was just the pump anyway, I think. Now I'm looking at this. Yeah, that's not the generic air filter base. Good thing I didn't just buy that. Radiator A. Where does the battery go? Right there, in front of my face. Okay, fan housing B. I was wondering, you never know which one it's going to be, whether it's just the regular fan housing or if it's the fan housing B with 2 fans. So it's always kind of a crapshoot. So let's see if there is a. Let's get the covers, and I'm pretty sure there's a performance variant. There it is. Since they did add the performance parts for the Mercedes stuff a couple of weeks after the Mercedes DLC came out. I bet the cover goes on after the engine is in. Okay, so that's all of those bits. Let's get the gas tank. Okay, I know that they added that and the muffler. I'm pretty sure there are 2 of them. We've got to weld the body up too. Oh, I guess there's a fuel pump in it. Yep. That's not common. A lot of times there's no fuel pump in a junkyard car, just like there's no oil filter, not an oil filter, no oil pan most of the time on a junkyard car. Yeah, see, there's no oil pan on this one. And I think that's it. Yeah, because we need the manifolds on the engine. No starter. Let's remember to get a starter now, since I always forget. It's annoying that this still happens. Try to click on a tool and it gives you the menu. This is actually a pretty good color too. It's more golden than the yellow was on that Viper that was here a minute ago. Oh, there's a piece I didn't take out. And there is a front plate. It's a good thing. Well, I didn't. I meant to leave this on the license plate shop, but I got out of it to get a starter. So there was a headlight there that... You know what? Let's try and repair it just for grins and giggles. Okay, that should be body and frame and interior 100%. Excellent. Let's move you. Not that. Move you to the paint shop. And then I want to run over here real quick. Yeah. Sometimes you can repair lights and sometimes you can't. Actually, I think it's more accurate to say that most of the time you can't repair lights. Occasionally you can. So that's a good color. I think I'm going to stick with that. Yeah, that's the factory color. And no livery, so... I think I'll go with, instead of something really garish, I think I'll stick with this. It's too bad that I can't at least put stripes on it or something. It's something I've mentioned before, but I would really like it if you could do like pinstriping. It seems to me that would be an easy thing to add, but what do I know? So we have a double wishbone rear suspension. This is not unlike the Porsche 911, and this is the one that has the wacky long transmission. The drive shaft is this long, heavy thing, and it like does double duty as the transmission. At least it's not the suspension arm rear end. That's pleasant. You don't have to deal with all of the... Oh, see, look at that. Big old drive shaft. Anyway, I was saying you don't have to deal with all the different bushings. This one is going to have nothing but regular bushings. There aren't going to be any small ones in this setup. Which sway bar B? The sway link ends are B. You can tell that they're always B, unless you have the front shock absorber A, and we don't. So the links are always going to be B. The front sway bar though can be different from time to time, and they look exactly the same. So it's like, gee, I don't know which one is which. Of course, for the purposes of the game, I had to throw in a few different parts here and there, I guess, since every car pretty much uses the same bits. I clicked on something I shouldn't have there. Is there an intercooler on this thing? No, there isn't. Some cars have intercoolers tucked in front of the radiator, and it's really hard to, sometimes it's easy to overlook them. Okay, so all the mechanical parts are off. Let's get the engine out. Oh, I should have known it was going to make me do that. Oops, I guess I didn't click on the engine. There we go. And it looks like there's a lot of stuff here. So that's going to be a little bit involved taking that apart. Okay, so now we need to process, we need to process through all the junk. That's 20 rubber bushings. See, sell that for $0, $0, $0, $0, $1. Who would even pay $1 for a worn out rubber bushing? This is something I see people do a lot. You come in here and search for clutch and then search for flywheel. All you have to do is click gearbox, and it'll bring up all this stuff on one screen. Makes your life really easy. Might be able to repair a couple of these pieces, but I'm not going to. I'll just go ahead and replace all the brakes. I think I remember why I have an extra pair of brake discs too, because I bought 4 of them instead of 2 of each. Need the front and rear double wishbone suspension. And then we need, that was the sway end link. I need the front B, 2 of those and 2 of those. So that means I can go through here and get rid of all of those. 25% on that steering rack. We might be able to save it. Okay, I think that's all the tie rods and sway bar stuff. So we need four bearings and 2 caps. Those are the non-repairable things. These are all shot. I'm just going to flush those. Two front wheel hubs, 2 rear wheel Bs, 4 bearings and 2 caps. Rim Mercedes SLS-B. What is the options that we have there? You know, I actually think that looks pretty good. Black and white. I think that'll be a nice contrast with the yellow car. Try and dismount those and see if we can. That one's 7, so no. Not going to get that one back. 10 on that one. $32 on that one, so we should be able to get that one back at least. We've built our shocks, so we can delete the old ones now. And 19 on that last rim. If we're lucky, we'll get 2 of these back. And I think I'm down now to stuff that's, except for the tires. Let's go ahead and replace those now. So 295, 30, 19. So that's 295, 30, 19 on that one. Okay, match the tire size. That's what I want to see. 265, 35, 19. So 265, 35, 19. Alright, so we have all the correct tires lined up. Okay, 5%, 6%, 7%. But we're not going to get a lot of this stuff back. I can tell you that for free. 15% on that. Anything less than 15, we're not going to even, it's not even going to try. That's pretty good. I didn't see anything break there in that list. So I need 3 upper suspension arms and a bottom suspension arm. Crossmember G for rear axle knuckle cover. And there was I think a front steering knuckle. Yeah, front steering knuckle C. That leaves us with just the 2 rims. SLSB 19. I'm going to go with that. I did intend to choose something else, but I think this will be okay. I'm not even going to paint them because they're already two-tone, and painting them would just wipe that out. Get all the tires. I can almost get all the tires mounted before the first one finishes balancing. That one's almost done, so I'm going to wait for it here for a second. Maybe it's not almost done. But there's something else I need to deal with here. So this gearbox is the stock gearbox, and it is $1,150 fixed up. So that right there is why I always try to repair the old gearboxes, because I'm not going to use them. I'm going to replace them. I think that was the right one. Yeah, M159. For a moment there, I had a little bit of a crisis. And we're not going to be able to put the rear wheels on yet. Not until the drivetrain is all back in there. Okay, the wheels are all finished. One thing that I always enjoy, especially since you saw how many of these parts were just totally shot, and how much better it looks when there's all new metal in there. Get rid of all the rusty garbage. I must not have gotten that hub bearing installed on the other side. I thought I did. I just saw I had 4 in my inventory still. No, it's there. Maybe I saw that wrong. I always like to get the bushings all installed on the crossmember first, because it's easy to forget one. And then you think you're done, and you look at the list, and you're like 99% on parts. And it's like, oh my god, what did I miss? Of course, if you keep your inventory under control, you don't have a whole lot of stuff floating around in there. And then you look at your inventory, and you're like, oh, there's a bushing still in my inventory that should be on the car. So now I just need to figure out where it goes. And these would be the 265s on the front. Why does it want? It wants really badly to put the big tire on the front. Here we go. It's looking like something now. Okay, so let's see what we have to do to this thing. It's been a long time since I worked on one of these. What is it? Okay, so that needs to come off. I remember this one now. It's got like a billion timing chain shoes on it. Okay, so what can I take off? Can't take off that. I think this is one of those Mercedeses that doesn't like come up. The engine doesn't come apart in a logical way. It's like, oh, there's a cap still on there. Come here. I'm gonna have to remember. Let's see, there's 8 on this, so that's 16 of those on the engine. Still can't get this until this is undone. It only has 3 of the camshafts on it. Well, those things don't come off. They're part of the block. So, what do we have underneath? Since it had both heads on it, it's going to have 8 pistons in it. I don't see any caps, though. No, there's one. Alright, so now what I want to do is flush the things that we're going to get rid of. The pistons and piston rings are not repairable. We're not going to reuse them. I'll just nuke those now. There were no spark plugs in it. Or I would throw those out too and get new ones. Should have typed rings, not just ring. 8 of those. There were, a V8 needs 3 of those, and it needs 8 of these. I'm going to go ahead and buy 8. There was 1 in there, but it might not be repairable. And it's not a big deal if I end up with an extra one. So 8 pistons and 8 spark plugs. Probably going to need an alternator and a power steering pump. So for this, we'll need 4 of these, 1 each of these, 2 of those, that. Actually not sure how many of these throttle bodies it's going to want. So what else do we have here? So I need 16 of these camshaft caps. And since I'm here, I'm just going to sell that one. Oh, this is good. So I need 16 of these. Gonna need head covers. Looks like it has ignition coils. Intake base. I don't have and these are all M159 bits. So I'm sure I'm gonna need all of that. There's the oil pan. This is the one the oil reservoir is weird on this one because it doesn't go in until the engine is actually in the car. Serpentine belt, timing chain. And now there were like 2 of those. I think 2 of those and 1 of these. I guess we'll find out in a second. And a power steering pump. Two A's, 2 B's. Let's see, there's a B, there's just 2 C's and 2 B's and 1 A. That doesn't seem right. But I took the timing cover off. So I guess I need one more C to be sure. I think I have an extra one of those now. But that's okay, we'll deal with that when we come to it. I'm going to need 4 of these. And I think that'll get us down to, oh yeah, water pump. A water pump pulley, and it's probably the V8 crankshaft pulley. So what does that get us down to? These pieces I'm not going to reuse, I'm just going to try to repair them for selling purposes. That wasn't bad at all. I didn't see anything fail. So these camshafts can go. I'll reuse the crankshaft, the block. That head can go. Didn't repair that. Repaired one head, which is worth $500. So that's worthwhile to do. I think I'm in the wrong place. Why in God's name? Oh, I know why. It's because of that stupid drive shaft thing that's attached to it. Ah, there's the alternator. I knew I was going to need an alternator. Okay, so it's not going to let me put anything else in there. Building V8 engines like this is really satisfying. I think the only engine that I may like more is the i6, the straight 6 engine with the 3 carburetors. I like that engine a lot too, but that's kind of nostalgia for me because I used to own a Datsun 280Z and it had the same sort of straight 6 engine in it. I spent a lot of time with that car and I really knew that engine inside and out. So it's always fun to see something that's similar to it. It's not exactly the same, because the Datsun engine, it was a overhead cam, just single overhead cam, and the engine that's in here is the i6 engine in here is a DOHC engine, but it still looks close enough that it works for me. I'm going to need to remember to buy ignition coils for it too, because I didn't do that. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Ah, a roller. God, look at all those bolts. And it does need 2 throttles. I can see that now. That's good. I have to go back over here anyway. Oh, I should have stopped and bought the roller too. I'm sure there's going to be more of them. Actually, because I did buy a serpentine belt. It's almost certainly going to need a belt tensioner. There we go. Now you see I was counting that the other way. It's A at the bottom, and then B, and then B, and then C, and then C. I was going A, B, B, C. But it goes from the bottom up rather than from the top down. Another roller goes right there. Roller B, roller B. Ah, look at that. A. This hole right here, that's where the oil thingy goes, the oil reservoir. Once the engine is installed in the car, that's what plugs into that hole. Guess I don't need a belt tensioner. I assumed it would need one, but apparently it does not. Doesn't this head cover look like it's plastic? I mean, I'm sure it's not for real, but it looks like black plastic here, which there's no way that would work. Under the temperatures and pressures of a normal engine running, it would blow that right off. I mean, it's not plastic, obviously, but it sure looks like it here. And we're almost home. Once the last 4 coils go in, the engine will be ready to go into the car. Not ready for oil yet, though. There we go. Take a quick look. See, this is something I wish they wouldn't do. This yellow outline, it's got the drive shaft that goes all the way back to the back of the car, and the front yellow outline there is the air filters that don't go on here. It's not till the engine is mounted again. So here's where we can see that's the oil reservoir. Oh, I have to lift the car. I forgot all about that. And I should have known that you would want clips. Is it just 3? Yeah, I think it's just 3. So I need 6 clip A's. And I bought 7. I'll fumble finger tonight. Okay, that should be all hooked up. Yep. So now we have to go up. Leave the hood open because, and I checked this. I checked this before to make sure the hood doesn't actually clip through anything in the ceiling. This drive shaft is just humongous. And it puts the transmission way back here. I mean, it's kind of like a rear engine car. I mentioned that before, like the Porsche 911. It has the transmission and stuff in the back, but the engine is in the back on a Porsche 911. In this car, the engine is in the front, but the transmission is in the back. Okay, so that should be 100% parts completion. Need to get, yeah, a little bit of extra bits. Just need to get oil into it so we can take it to the dyno. The oil reservoir is way up here. Take a quick look. 100% across the board, that's what we want. So now we can test it. I swear it's been so long since I've messed with one of these, I can't remember anything about it. It's a V8, so it's not going to be as honking big as the Viper was, for instance. But it should be pretty good. What are we starting at? 558, so probably 6. Maybe 7. I wouldn't think it would double it. Wow, that was more than I anticipated. So we'll take it out and do a quick speed run with it. Okay, and here we go. Yeah, the color looks pretty good outside. It's definitely more golden. The Viper yellow was kind of like, with the black stripes, it was almost like Bumblebee, you know, like a bee. Not necessarily like, you know, Transformer Bumblebee, but definitely like a black and yellow bee. This looks more like a gold bar. I bet with the chameleon paint job it would look, or not the chameleon, that the chameleon would look like crap. but I bet the chrome paint job with this color would look really, really garish. So let's see what it's got under the hood here. Fair amount, almost 900 horsepower. Didn't get away, tried to get away from me a little bit, but not as bad as some other cars. I think we're going to get over 200, no problem. And I think it was climbing still. Whoop, brake, brake, brake. 212. That's pretty darn good. And if we weren't stopped here because we reached the end of the track, I have a feeling it would have kept going up and up and up. Because it wasn't topped out at all. That's not too shabby. Okay, so it's totally done. We've driven it. It's pretty cool. There was something I noticed in the car. You can't see it here really. Sitting in the car in the on the test track, you could sort of see the selections on the radio, but you can't move your head inside the car to look at them. And I saw something there that looked kind of odd, but now I can't read it. So I guess I'm not going to worry about it. I think the odometer says it has 243 kilometers per hour. I don't know what that reference is. Anywho, it's in 5th gear even, according to that, even though it's sitting here with the engine off. Does it have the flappy paddle gearbox? I can't tell. It's got like a gear shift lever there. But, yeah, I don't see the flappy paddle thing. But I don't see a clutch either. Yeah, there's no clutch. So it's an automatic transmission. Okay, let's see how much this thing is worth. Looks like it's worth more than the Viper was. Because the Viper was $496. This is $547. You know, over $500,000 by a pretty significant amount. So with the Viper at $496 and the Chiron at $2.6 million, call it three and a half. Yeah, call it $3.6 million today. Not too bad. Pretty good day's work. So that will wrap this one up. And I guess we'll have to go to the junkyard again. See what else we can find. I'm gonna get rid of that because I'm not going to use it. These I may use somewhere else, but I might as well just get rid of them. Alright, so that'll wrap this one up. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope to see you again here for our next junkyard adventure, in which we will actually go to the junkyard. So on that note, bye for now.